Everybody got that?
I love it.
That's so good.
I love it.
That was so
You have to make a standalone of that. You have to make a standalone of that.
Whoops, I need to fix that background. Hold on.
Fix it. Fix it.
Just want to have the Darren Aronofsky smart fella or fart smeller.
You are a very good storyteller.
That's amazing.
I think they should take notes from you.
What? I barely changed anything.
Zing!
For the timing of the Bible and the pluck. That made me laugh.
So yeah, if you're listening,
You got everybody got that?
Yeah, seriously.
We are going to do a movie this week.
Called Into Darkness. Because look at that projector behind it.
Damn it. Fixing.
It hasn't started yet.
Fix it. There you go.
We're going to do a movie that whose sole goal, I think, was to challenge the premise that less is more.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
I've got just the title. Boom.
Bam.
Or it could have been called Put the Twinkie Down. That's what it could be down. Because you don't need to eat any more Twinkies. That's
You just don't.
Less is more.
So, Mother, we have no structure for this episode beyond trying to decide.
Is that representative of the movie?
Much like the movie.
Was it a lot of effort or just we were lazy?
It's up for you to decide.
Imagination.
I think people are going to guess what our decision is on whether.
I loved it.
I did too. I actually did. I liked it.
So do you want to
Is
take
that
a
it for the
stab?
review? Do we quit now?
That's it.
I guess we're
2
done.
minute review.
2 minute, yeah.
Woohoo!
Smart fella or fart smeller.
There you go.
So this is Darren Aronofsky's take on the Bible, I guess.
Well, he did a take called Noah. Remember that?
That was a hot take.
Oh yeah. Noah, the action hero.
That we all
I'm gonna
remember.
get these animals and these motherfucking boats. 2 by 2. 2 by 2.
I forgot when Arnold Schwarzenegger played Noah.
I know. He would have been perfect.
You need to do the
It was an important role in my career.
He was our forefather. He was the essence of life.
Oh, Ben, this beer you brought, it's really bad.
Don't market
Yeah,
it.
we're really starting off the podcast
Everyone
with a bitter
go
taste.
to Black Acre.
Oh man, there goes our sponsor that we were trying to get.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought that I would enjoy Chai Guy Milk Stout.
It tastes like a bad Guinness.
Ugh.
Just like this tasted like a bad movie.
All right, all right, get on it, get on it, get on it.
There's metaphor everywhere.
So really, the literal storyline? How would you, before we get into spoilers?
There's no
and
describing
anything else,
it.
What is the bird's eye view?
Okay, so let me just talk about. How about we do experience?
Sure.
Experience coming
first.
in. Okay, so because I talked to Aaron a little bit today, and I don't know your experience. I came in it.
Going into the movie,
Yeah,
or
going into the movie,
having watched it? Okay,
going in and watching.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
So I'll go
ahead.
mine, then you go yours, and
Mm-hmm.
so on and so forth. First, Colin first. Anyways,
Colin Firth.
yes, he's the first. Speaking of Kingsman, but
your experience, go.
so I came in beforehand knowing nothing, seeing the one preview. Thought this looks like an interesting movie. It could be like a horror / cult kind of thing. It was a really interesting preview. That's it. I came in not reading any reviews or anything. And my experience was really I was enjoying the experience of how the movie was shot. So
Same.
when the shot and the feelings he was evoking in me, and I didn't get the literal interpretation. I was suspected, but not really.
The literal interpretation.
The literal interpretation of the biblical.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Until when everybody started coming in after the funeral. I think that's when
you get caught.
That's when I started caught on because it took me out of reality a little bit, because part of me felt like this was a real place.
Yeah, up
you
until
know.
that point, it was very
Very good. Well
grounded.
done.
Yeah.
But after that, that's when I said, oh, okay. And then after leaving the experience, I liked the movie a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then after I as it resonated with me, I'm indifferent about it. Very indifferent about it.
Yeah.
It was a
now
really stark change.
It's not denial. It's not like I went to like when I was a little kid and saw Episode 1, Star Wars Episode 1, and it's like, this is a good movie. Yes, it's a good movie. Like,
Isn't it, Mr. Lucas?
And you watch it 4 times, 6 times, you're like, this isn't a good movie at all.
Yeah.
No, this was like just mixed feelings.
Yeah, so going in, I kind of had the expectation too, and it was marketed as a horror movie.
Yes.
It was marketed as like a weird horror movie, like you're not going to believe it. Look, you can't. And then all the buzz around it was that it was kind of gross or kind of shocking, and so like going into it, it's like this horror tale.
I'm gonna see if I can find the poster that says all that stuff. But
Do it.
keep talking.
Yeah,
Keep talking.
And they had some market, like one of the poster variants was like of Rosemary's Baby, and so like there's all these other
Well,
references
the
they're
poster
trying
was
to make.
actually exactly the same as Rosemary Baby.
Yeah, it was like a parody of it. But then having watched the movie, it is none of those things. And it's very obvious that like, oh, this is a hard movie to get, like, to digest, to sit through. Not because of its horror. It has like gruesome elements, but it's not like a horror movie, but like the producers clearly wanted to market it that way.
And they're like, you
to
can't
like
digest this
get
without
more people
sparkling
butts
water.
in the seat. Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to add something nonsense in there.
Yeah, a little nonsense.
Going
That's
back
a
on.
little nonsense, just
the
like this
tour moves
movie.
on.
Yeah, no, watching it, I actually was enjoying. I actually loved the pivot when all the people showed up. Mm-hmm. I loved that part because it felt. The parts I liked so much were when it kind of started to spiral into just
the
blatant
end.
ridiculous. Like it felt like
It
you
felt
were
very-
literally watching somebody in a nightmare.
You know what?
Like,
do you know what it reminded me of?
What?
Speaking of, I just thought of it just now. It's like there's like when I watch it, like what does this remind me of? Like when they were pivoting around the whole house, and it's like war and all like the blatant.
you're talking about at the very, very,
the very very end.
yeah.
You know what it reminded me of?
No.
There's an episode of The Cosby Show with I'm serious. This is I think I showed you this once where
got to
Gonzo and the
read the
Muppets are in
Bible,
it.
Ruthie!
And it goes crazy at the end. It goes insane. They're gonna saw off it's absolutely
Was
nuts.
it actually the Cosby Show?
It
or
was a Cosby Show, and Gonzo was in. He was a surgeon in it. The Muppets, and it was really dark and crazy
Aaron, can
and
you
creepy.
look that up?
I'll work on it.
You
Yeah.
go-
Yeah. Well, so
Let me see
what
if
would,
I got.
But it reminded me of that.
There it is.
Oh, you got the poster?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Darkly exhilarating.
Is she the next Two-Face?
Some people are
yeah.
gonna fucking hate this movie.
2000. Hey, it looks like we're part of the picture selection. doesn't it? Except for me.
Oh no.
So, Aaron, what was your you knew nothing going in, right?
Yeah, I mean, I went in going relatively nothing. Hold on, let me change this camera thing. I went in knowing almost nothing. I had seen the trailer, I had seen the poster, and I was just like, yeah, it looks like a weird movie. I mean, I know what to expect from Aronofsky.
Do you have a cold?
I had a cold last week.
What was his name?
I knew what to expect from Aronofsky. And I was like, oh, maybe this could be good. Maybe it could be terrible. I don't know. Mm-hmm. And I think by the time... It was when you see the bruised rib over the toilet, and then the lady shows up, and at that point I had already mentally checked out.
I wish I would have taken a picture of your face.
Do you
but I
have
was
your
so
notes? You should just show everybody your
Oh, sure.
notes. from
Show
that
everybody your
scene.
notes.
I have some hams and some fists there.
That was literally taken
was amazing.
during the movie. See, look, I'm going to be the last to take notes, so like
Yeah.
it's funny because now Aaron's taking like really
Corrupting him.
Well, then I get
You
to
are.
remember my jokes that I make during the movie.
Yeah.
Like the subtitle for this movie. Do you remember it?
Is it? Do you get it? I don't remember.
No. It was
Everybody
it
got
was
that?
Mother. How I learned to stop caring about cohesive narrative and smell my own farts.
aren't they lovely? Aren't they beautiful?
Everyone loves their own brand, don't they?
Yes, they do. Smells like deviled eggs.
So just deviled eggs. So, just to be clear, if you haven't seen this movie, just the base level is that Jennifer Lawrence lives with Javier Bardem in this isolated, rustic cabin in the middle of nowhere. And it's just them. Then Ed Harris shows up.
It's a house. It's not a cabin.
Yeah,
it's a house. It's a very
it's like a 3-story.
It's a perfect house.
It's a beautiful house. It's actually pretty cool from the outside when they show it.
Yeah.
It's a really well done. It's very Victorian kind of feel to it.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, randomly, Ed Harris shows up and stays the night, and Javier Bardem's all about letting him stay over. Then his wife, Michelle Pfeiffer, shows up. She knew to come there. And more characters keep showing up. And all
Michelle
the while,
Pfeiffer played a really good Catwoman.
Yeah.
She was a bitch. No, but
and then the Penguin showed up. And no,
I like to fill her void.
Get you, Penguin. If there was a penguin, there had to be Adam Sandler in there somewhere.
in the middle of this, just like
that made
It would have fit.
Yeah.
it probably would.
And he starts dancing out of there.
But yeah, things spiral out of control. Like once people show up, all the way through the end, Jennifer Lawrence gets pregnant at one point and has her baby. And here's where we can kind of, before you say spoilers, it's also very explicitly Bible references everywhere, as Aaron pointed out already.
I did not know that.
I was so it's not even bad. It's just so surface level. Look at what I did.
You
like this allegory?
It's a straight allegory, and what was interesting about it, it reminded me of like an experimental play done in a movie. You know what I mean? It's like it was very abstract done in a movie.
I was gonna say the way I would describe this movie is if your reclusive, liberal, atheist, feminist friend who likes to make movies, you put that person in a blender and then poured the blended person out, and you see all the chunks of that person, and you can kind of pick up, oh, that was clearly that person's shirt, but you don't know how it all comes together, and it tastes like shit at the end. And you can kind of remember that, oh yeah, your friend was very explicitly all of those things that you remember distilled into this chunky, crappy, disgusting mixture. Well, that's what Mother is.
I've got one. Remember what I told you?
Two girls in one cup.
I'm glad it's been a few days since we discussed this at the bar. But what was that one I wrote down? It was my interpretation of the movie. It's the movie form of a kid who invites you over to his house and ignores you to play with his own toys. Because he doesn't care if you're entertained. He only cares if he's entertained. And clearly, Aronofsky was entertained.
It felt very clearly ego driven, and that was interesting about the God character, the writer, the poet.
That was Aronofsky.
That was him. Basically.
So all right. We're getting going.
Good.
All right.
Good.
So
I'm gonna rustle up some grub.
So I printed off the list of. This is my segue into where I'm going to end up going.
Cool.
But like Vulture posted all of the theories about Mother was actually what it was actually about, and they actually have a pretty great intro sense. Everyone agrees. Everyone agrees that Aronofsky's Mother is an incredibly obvious allegory, but nobody agrees exactly what the allegory is.
Yeah.
Which is like, that is the perfect description of the movie.
Basically, a wadded up wet toilet paper you throw into the air and hope it sticks on the
Here's
ceiling.
everything.
Except what the paper is a page out of the Bible.
Yeah. It's just all of the pages, just scattered loosely, that then somebody comes and pisses on, or And so I think the main ones about somebody's description about what the movie's about. Mother is about the Bible or Christianity, however. Mother is about being Darren Aronofsky. Mother is about being a woman. Mother is about fame. And then Mother is about the environment, which is what Jennifer Lawrence and Darren Aronofsky have been saying it's about. But like, nobody can agree on any of those things.
Well, judging by the little watermark you have, the lower thirds there, it could be the part in Indiana Jones' Temple of Doom
Kalima,
where they were going to pull out what's her name's heart in it. But
yeah. So explain to me. There's quite a bit of. There's a lot of like modern literal retelling of Bible stories.
Yeah.
Right. Creation, original sin, Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel.
Star Wars.
I think he was talking about the confines of the movie.
Literal. Excuse me. Sorry, literal. Sorry, I thought you meant subtle.
No, like in the movie,
Star Wars, the Jedi Order.
just like any reason to bring up Star Wars.
Star Wars.
I'm on
Star
it.
Trek is your best, guys.
Anyways,
You know what the best pizza is? Yeah, Star Wars.
Star Wars flavored pizza.
The best pizza I ever had was when I was watching Star Wars for the first time.
Yeah.
The best poop I ever had when I ate the pizza after watching Star Wars.
It was 2007.
Jesus, what a BM that was.
And then I played Rogue One or Rogue Squadron.
Rogue Squadron. Plop, plop, plop.
Instead of the Empire.
All right.
I already forgot where we were.
Farts. We're the fart smellers. So,
Good piece
and
of
it's
wood,
sort
too.
of the movie split up between sort of Old Testament, New Testament, and the Javier Bardem plays the poet who's like the creator, and he wrote one piece of like an amazing piece of literary work, Old Testament. And he's struggling. And then the second half of the movie, he gets inspiration once Jennifer Lawrence becomes pregnant. Mm-hmm. So he writes a new book, and that kid is a Jesus figure, and it's the New Testament. So there's Bible references all the way through in a like very literal way, but like a modern perverse take on religion, right?
Yeah.
And
I don't know about perverse, just it's not
I
the
guess
same
more
as everything else.
Provocative.
I guess I meant more particularly the baby. I guess the baby.
I guess perverse in a way that isn't pejorative.
That's true. No, I guess I don't mean it more in like a
the traditional perverse.
shocking or the Vermithrax pejorative.
You got to deal with dragons now too.
Reference back to old podcast.
Speaking of dragons, you should see last night my date. I had no date.
So there's also all of the references to like literally him, Javier Bardem, like representing a celebrity like himself who's a creator, and fame and celebrity and all of what his followers represent in terms of interpreting and how they take things from him.
There was a line from
he wants to please them.
And he's like, you must forgive them. That's my heart, Javier. That's very. You must forgive them.
You know what the line I liked was?
That's pretty good.
It's not bad.
That's not bad.
Where mother was dying, and like she's like, I just wish my love was enough for you or something. He's like, it's never enough. I'm a creator.
It's never enough.
Yeah, that was
a
funny.
To the faith. So there's all of these little lines, and there's a lot of like feminist themes too. You could argue about how he ignores her the whole time, how she's always doing very sort of stereotypical women 1950s duties of cleaning, laundry,
Hold the phone.
cooking.
Hold the phone.
Go ahead.
I don't buy into this right here. Like
I'm not saying I buy into it.
I know.
Yeah.
How can anyone
we did have
drop into the feminist themes when the movie is explicitly about God, Earth, and man? That's what Aronofsky said. Okay.
Let me push back.
Is he saying that God is misogynistic? Is
No.
that what he's saying?
Earth has no sex, man.
It's asexual.
Yes, this is the problem. Now, so here's my biggest argument.
But it's Mother Earth.
All of this to say, there's all of these kind of, at least there is tangible evidence to kind of relate back, even if those things don't connect. But then he says, Mother is about the environment and how we're disregarding our planet, and Jennifer Lawrence echoed all this stuff, and how we're neglecting the planet.
And the hurricanes are our fault, by the way.
Where is the environment stuff? Where? Other than her supposedly representing Mother Earth, but that was only for like the first half of the movie.
The environment stuff is like the house is the environment.
Yeah.
The house is getting like
trashed
by human beings.
So the house is the environment.
The house is
Earth.
absolutely. No, clearly
She's not the environment.
No, she's the spirit of the environment.
She's the caretaker of the environment. And she was trashed at one point too. She takes care of the earth. She's not physically the earth.
She's not Earth. She's Gaia.
She's the mother of the earth.
But the same thing.
No.
But the house is the earth. The house is Earth.
Yeah, didn't you know everything has a spirit, dude?
But I guess, okay.
Well, where are you having troubles there, buddy?
I mean,
Let's break it down. Let's unpack that.
I'm having trouble with, like, okay, so you're basically saying people are bad. That's it.
yeah,
That's the message.
what did I
get-
say in the bar? Yeah, I get it. What do we do with that?
Yeah, people
What
are
now?
bad.
What's the solution? What
and
do we
that
do?
God is vain and created people,
In
and
his
then
own
the
image.
people wanted to
Eat Jesus. Eat him up.
selfishly neglected the planet.
I wonder how many carbon atoms they emitted by making this movie.
True.
Man,
I
Which
guess
is-
I don't understand. That's so simplistic. That's such a simplistic.
That's
why
why
do you
Aaron
think I
hated
was
it. That's
banging my
so
head on
bad.
the wall in the theater
Exactly.
after it was
So
over?
That's why Aaron hated it.
It's so
I didn't hate it.
terrible.
Remember what I said? It's wasted potential.
Eat your Brussels sprouts, Aaron.
Okay. There could have been something, but then there was nothing.
But the house. So when the house is rebuilt again, it is perfect
Sure.
because
No,
she is trying to like
it's-
patch it up.
It's not perfect.
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
Well,
Because here it is. We've destroyed the earth, and like the earth is being regenerated again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How many
there's
cosmos?
a very
Maybe-
cyclical nature here.
very cyclical
Sure,
nature.
sure.
Just like in the cosmos, it's created. You know, the Big Bang theory. It's created by a bunch of gas and debris that
Yeah.
forms. So it forms again
Okay.
as a physical Earth, and she has to put it back the way it was. So it's slowly.
And
You
she's
need Mother
never
Earth
the
to
same
nurture it.
twice.
You know what I mean? He created the Earth, but you need Mother Earth
So
to nurture the
you're
Earth.
telling me
And so he can create different.
that a very
nurturers.
even though the Javier Bardem doesn't care about the house,
No, he doesn't.
No,
the neglect and doesn't even reference the house doesn't matter.
he just likes diamonds.
It's just
He
he's
just wants people to pay attention to him.
but the conflict is that he is neglecting and abusing Jennifer Lawrence.
over and
It
over.
has nothing to
again.
do with the house.
Sure.
Yeah. What's your question here?
Yeah. What?
Where are you
getting
driving
at?
at, taxi?
Like I guess I just don't understand.
It's a framing device.
Sound it out.
See, this is everything I was struggling with during the screening.
I'm trying to figure out if like
I think you need a shoulder massage over there.
you guys talk for a while.
No. Well, now what are you trying to
Seriously.
say, boy?
I don't understand.
Speak up!
I don't get the environmentalist. It doesn't come up at all. He's not neglecting the plant. And it's a like the agency is that the people show up and they're not. They're kind of sitting on stuff, and it's more like.
But they're
That's
abusing
not
it.
braised yet. That sink. Please get off the sink. Please, like, and then it
Stop!
breaks.
Don't come back.
Sounds
And-
like somebody doesn't understand metaphor.
And then, but like she could. In this case, it's a stupid idea because she could at any time rebuild the house.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
It's like it's not like the environment. Like it's just a stupid.
no, but
It was better to me if it was her. Now you're telling
No.
me it was the house.
no,
Here,
Like the
Yeah.
house is its own character, but the house has no agency.
no, because there's a different Mother Earth that nurtures it every time. That's a cycle.
yeah.
It's a different Mother Earth that nurtures.
It was a
the
different
Earth.
girl in the beginning and a different one at the end.
It could be potentially interpreted of it's a different planet. He's creating like they destroyed that
guess.
planet and that was Earth, and now there's a new planet he's creating in the cosmos, and that's why there's many different planets.
Excellent interpretation.
You know.
Here,
So
I'm going
maybe
to sum up
maybe
the message
different
for you.
nurturers of this particular planet is different
Matt,
Mother
quit
Earth.
trying to overthink it. The message was we're mistreating Earth.
Yeah, the
Done.
people.
and and that's what I'm saying is it was
How-
not done well.
Well,
like that was not a good idea
But why though? Why wasn't it done well?
because it seems
I thought it was pretty hand-fisted. I didn't think it was. I think it was clear that it was an environmental.
Are you sure it was clear?
I don't think Matt is sure that it's clear.
no. I don't think it was clear at all.
And this
The
well,
environmentalist
let's-
message was not clear to me at all.
Let's talk about it.
Okay.
Let's talk about
Sure.
this. This is
Go.
This is
the
good.
second half of the movie, like yeah, all the people show up, but within the context of the movie, within the context of the biblical references, within the context of the interpersonal character, the celebrity stuff, the publisher, the baby, like the second half of the movie basically negates all of the like the house is the character we need to protect. Like that that's
No,
not.
because-
She becomes a Mary figure, and it's all about the baby, and the baby has nothing to do with the environment. That's the entire second half of the movie.
I think that's a narrative problem, but
How is the second half of the movie related to the environment? At all?
because they're destroying it. That's when the shit goes to hell.
But-
it's getting like it's done. we're fucking up. Nuclear war. We're destroying the Earth. It's physically just like it can't be any more clear than that.
It seemed to me that it wasn't about the house being destroyed. It was about the people spiraling
about her,
into madness.
And she cares about the house.
But it's not about the house. It's about the people spiraling into madness, destroying the house.
No, they were destroying each other though too,
and the house and everything.
But that's what I'm saying is that it's not an environmentalist message. He stuffed it with like 1,000 different things in there.
It is, and I can see
it's more than just the environmental thing. There was a lot of stuff crammed in there.
And I guess that's my ultimate point is that when he goes out in public and that is his main message is that this is an environmentalist story and I got the light about how to deliver this was I'll just tell the Bible. It's like those two things are kind of disconnected, and then you add this other thing, and then it's supposed to weave in. It's just like here's everything, and it's supposed to be an environmentalist message. I don't
stop trying to understand a man smelling his own farts.
It could be a. It's not.
I'm not trying to understand. I'm trying to call.
I haven't watched his interviews. I haven't watched any of his interviews, so I don't know what he's saying exactly. I don't think he's saying specifically the movie's only about the environment. It could be about the environment and other things too.
Yes.
So that's my interpretation of it. Like, I think the environmental part was pretty clear in it, pretty big, major focus.
Yeah.
But it was also the Bible and its interpretation of God. You said he was an atheist, and that kind of can explain a lot. Who commissions an atheist to do a Noah movie? That's what I want to know.
Maybe they thought he could do a good job. I mean, he did make a couple of good movies.
I enjoyed it for what it was.
Remember The Wrestler? That was a great movie.
Yeah. Anyways,
funnily enough, he didn't write that one.
Yeah. I've seen Larry eat.
So here's a question.
What's that?
If it's an environmentalist, so is Mother Earth pushed to the brink of madness
to destroy herself?
To destroy the Earth
yes.
with oil? Like what?
That was hell, dude.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get that. It was.
Well, it's the
that's the biblical allegory, but like, how is that environmental?
Well, it resets.
So you're saying the Earth is like realizing I need to destroy myself?
Well, yes.
Eventually, the Earth will be uninhabitable. And then the cycle will continue. Like,
but she
didn't
know that as a character.
Oh my God, you're being too literal.
The whole movie was literal.
No, the whole movie was a literal metaphor.
No, the whole movie was everyone acting exactly how if you interpreted that person in modern day.
It was like didn't it feel like Animal Farm?
God,
at some
I was
points?
thinking that. I was going to bring that up.
It felt like Animal Farm, like with the characters. Like, they're stereotypical. Like, I'm going to repaint this.
If the pigs had giant Russian hats on, and they were, I got my hammer and sickle, oink oink. Like it was just so blatant. This is about Russia. Actually,
that's all, folks.
If only Animal Farm through the whole thing, everyone is wearing like stereotypical Russian clothes and stuff. But then at the end, George Orwell's like, "This was about the environment."
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. No, it wasn't solely about the environment. I agree with you there, but I think the environment
he was throwing shit at the wall, hoping it would stick.
It was, but I do think the environment was a major thing too, a major player.
I've talked a lot. You guys talk some more.
Okay.
All right, Aaron.
Remake Dragonheart.
Draco.
Yeah. Gosh, what is there to say? I was mad at this movie. Okay, let's just get that out of the way because
and I had to drive you home.
I was banging my head against the wall when we got out of the theater because it was so. Anyone could have come up with this.
You were like the Grinch on their mountain.
Yes.
All the noise. That's one thing I can't take.
She was kind of Grinchy.
She was.
She hated. She wanted to be by herself.
Yeah.
And her
look at my notes from the movie.
Kept shrinking.
Eden, bro.
and you know, and Javier has had a Grinch smile at one point.
Yeah, he kind of did.
They're here to see me.
Dun 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 dun.
Now,
you're a mean one.
Remember what I was telling you,
Mr. Poet.
at the bar, where I said I will like this movie more under the pretense that the allegory has Jennifer Lawrence as being Satan.
That's right. Oh.
Yeah, that makes it more interesting, at least.
But it's not, though.
Because, well, you don't know that. It could be. It's interpretation.
You know what? If you IM'd what's his name?
If I IM'd him with AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah, and say,
ASL, bro.
and say, hey, was it about Satan? He'll go with it. He'll go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. It's clear.
Yeah,
It's
no,
an allegory.
I came to that because I was so desperate to make this movie not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a piece of shit.
Okay, a mediocre piece of shit.
Well, it's not even mediocre.
Yes,
it's
it
just,
is.
It's not. It wasn't a piece of shit in terms of.
In technical terms, it was a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
But in the narrative, it's mediocre.
You're right.
So I came out, as you guys remember, I came out of it thinking, really liking it because I really liked my own interpretation of the movie, and like how it was all
But
about.
that's what they wanted you to do, right?
I really wanted I liked the narrative and took away the narrative that he was Darren Aronofsky and playing like celebrity and doing that side of it with like religious references in it.
Yeah.
And then once you sort of unpack just how many references there are, and then how he says it's environmental. And like telling me what the interpretation is supposed
It's like,
to be.
screw you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
But here's my take on this Lawrence is Satan thing. She was there before everybody else. Lucifer was like the first angel, jealous of God's attention when other people start showing up. They actually have her descend into hell at one point, and it makes it interesting because this whole thing could be an unreliable narrator situation. And then it's like, oh, maybe this is a little more complicated than it looks.
Maybe Mother Earth is hell. You know, maybe Mother Earth is.
I mean, that wasn't even the direction I was going, but that's another layer
No,
right there.
but maybe Mother Earth is not bad, and God is the arrogant one, and Mother
Oh
Earth
my God!
is the devil, but she is neither good nor bad. She's not benevolent or malevolent. She simply is.
No, God is the one that said, I am I. You want some hams and some fists? Here you go. I am I.
Isn't in the Bible, I am.
It is.
I am.
I thought it was just I am.
I am.
Yeah.
I stink.
It might depend.
I like it.
It might
I must
depend on
shower.
the translation.
I remember that. It's like, I think I like it. Like, that took
I
me
like
out-
it.
That took
Because
me out-
I'm all natural, right? I'm the environment.
Actually,
I was Mystique.
Remember
God,
Hunger
what a
Games?
downgrade.
Oh, I need a pizza.
That said, I don't normally like Jennifer Lawrence that much. She was good in this movie.
She was good, actually.
Compared to her other movies,
She was
yes.
she was the best part, I think.
Her and Bardem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was
I loved
great.
everybody else in the movie except for Jennifer Lawrence.
I
Actually.
did not like
what
Michelle
I'm trying to
Pfeiffer.
say is I don't normally like her, and now I do.
Okay.
Okay?
No, I actually thought she was a better part of the movie. I thought she played a really sensitive character, not like her other characters.
She's making the same face the whole time
Well,
until
yeah,
she had to
she's-
scream, and then
Yeah.
the screaming was like, you,
Okay, so
you can't
I don't know-
movie act
okay.
scream.
So because there's a part, folks, in the movie. Spoilers at this point. You know.
It's about the Bible. That's what it's about. Is Moses was in it.
There's a part
Whoa,
where
slow down, Poindexter.
oh, what a tetrahedron, a square. There's a part in the movie where it was after they left, and she was going to clean up the bathroom or something,
Yeah.
and there was some kind of organ in there. It looked like a heart.
Yeah.
I
can't
looked.
figure that
I
out.
looked online for hours to figure out what it was.
I have a possible interpretation.
Squirting
What-
blood heart.
Yeah,
in
it's
the
like-
toilet.
Could it have had to do with man flushing his own soul down the toilet? I don't know.
No.
How do you
Guys, I
know?
think-
You said you don't know what it is. Now you're just telling me no.
I think it was the environment. Flushing its heart down
That's
the
what it
toilet.
was. It was the environment.
But here's the problem. It looked like a heart, but it had the heart in the wall too, and that kind of was kind of confusing. You know, it's like, well, what's going on? Is that like a?
You do know that there's
you?
like intentionally weird stuff in Aronofsky's movies, right?
Is it just to throw us off?
Maybe.
I'm
'Cause,
on
I mean, what do you
board
think
with
the yellow
weird.
powder was?
I'm cool with the weird.
Yeah.
It's
What was?
just like,
what do you think the elixir?
the
was?
only unclear thing is what the yellow powder she was drinking
Tell
was.
me. You guys
All we-
tell me.
All I know is it was the same color as the paint powder she was using.
Yeah.
And I think it's intended to be like an obfuscation or something.
You know,
don't
I thought it was.
What?
Signor Pirelli's miracle elixir. That's what does the trick, sir.
No, seriously,
like
I
this.
I feel like he put it in there just to throw us off. I don't know.
Maybe.
Well, so it was when she would have her it was before she was pregnant.
Yeah, when she was
and
having a little
these,
psychotic
like,
episodes.
What was the powder? What was it?
I mean, it could have just been an antipsychotic. Who knows?
Yeah, but like in relativity, related to the fact that she's Mother Earth? What could it be that symbolizes something?
Well, if it's related,
See, that's a good symbolism. It's not hand-fisted.
yeah,
You
that's
know,
the
that's
only
what we
good
got-
one. It
that's-
feels like.
That one and the stupid heart.
Well, if it's the same color as the paint she's doing, because she mixes the paint with powder too, and she's meticulously painting the wall of the Earth, and she's like, does it have to do with how she likes being off to her own devices and alone and stuff? I don't know.
it settles her.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like Alka-Seltzer.
This was like the only thing I had to actually think about, and it's still stupid.
Yeah.
It's quite stupid. Just like the part where somebody asks, "Why don't you just build a new house?" She goes, "Well, it's
like
his
it-
home."
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe she just... She should have just used the excuse everybody else gives. It's fun flipping a house.
And remember the part about the dog? Dog. Society. No, there was no part about the dog. I just had to throw that in there. I was like society.
So
Laser.
we'd be remiss not to bring up the two amazing Ben moments while in the
Oh,
theater
don't you dare.
that
Please.
were one after
because
another.
I was engrossed. I was fully engrossed enjoying
The first one happened when she does go. She follows the blood dripping down onto the light bulb that explodes and reveals the door to
which
hell.
was original sin.
And she opens the
that was-
door to hell, and a frog comes out. It's like, oh, the frog, like the plague, or what does that mean? But then Ben goes, "I'm free." This little frog hopping out.
It was here with the frog voice.
Yeah,
It was like, are you free?
Which is pretty great. After this was right after she's cleaning the blood off the floor after Cain and Abel
And
fight.
it was okay in this context because the theater was empty.
And I was not loud about
No,
it. I
you
was
weren't
very
loud.
quiet. It was like whispering to Matt's ear, like, I'm free.
But then immediately after that, there's all these intense shots because Jennifer Lawrence is in the house all by herself at night because Javier Bardem went to the hospital with the Abel character who's going to die, and so she's all alone, and they don't know where Cain went. And so she's just creeping around this house. There's creaky doors.
It was a
And
good-
you hear things in the background, and then she bends over, and Domhnall Gleeson's behind,
And it wasn't.
blood and
yeah.
just standing there. And they do a jump scare, and then Ben here, go to me.
Oh, no.
Ben literally does one of these numbers. Jumps.
It was literally a jump scare.
It really was.
But you know what though? It wasn't a jump scare like the problem I had with it with the noise.
It was not overt, yes.
It was just it was just
It
quiet.
was purely visual.
That's true. They did. I don't even think they did have the sound.
No,
with
I
it.
think it was good.
Usually
I
If
think
there
it
was a
good.
sound, it was very subdued.
And I think it made it creepier. I think that's why I jumped.
Yeah.
Actually, I jumped more in that movie than I did it. Actually, I don't think I jumped in it.
wuss.
Because I was giving it the old college try. You know, I wanted to watch it. I was really
You
immersed.
were giving
in
it its fair shake.
Well, that's why I was enjoying it because
Yeah.
it wasn't boring. It
I
wasn't
mean, the
boring.
first half of this movie I enjoyed a lot.
I don't think it was boring.
No.
Now, did we care about the characters?
No.
That's another question. So, other people have reviewed this and kind of came to the same conclusion. And I think you talked about it when we were at the bar.
If everything's a metaphor, nothing matters.
You're right. It's like you don't. It's like if it's all a metaphor for, if it's like what we stopped caring about the danger. There wasn't any more danger.
but it's
anymore.
also
now
like-
it was like okay, this is like because I was really intrigued and watching the first half and intense. It was intense at the very beginning, and because I kind of care about these characters, but once we figure out they're just all metaphors, especially at the end, I
was out the
was
window.
like, all right, I'm not.
Done.
Yeah, I was checked out emotionally invested in the characters. I was checked out emotionally with the
Well,
characters.
and I'm okay if it's this is all. There's a bunch of there's a bunch of metaphors. There's a bunch of literal stuff that you're supposed to take and then compare, and it's just make up your interpretation. There's so much, and it's confusing, and maybe it doesn't all fit, but here are all the pieces, and interpret it. I could even say, all right, fine. That this was well done enough that I was able to leave and be like, oh, that was cool, and now I'm
We
going to think
enjoyed
of
it.
a couple ways that I could interpret it. But then when the director and everybody else just says this is what it's about, that's what ruins it. for
Everybody
me.
else can say what they want. The director said so
And I'm all
in
about-
interviews
and I'm
what
all-
it was about.
Yeah,
And I love.
Give us a chance, Aronofsky.
it's not like
I
a
love
Kubrick
that-
thing where you make it kind of
Yeah.
surreal and
It just
weird.
felt like another layer of him not respecting
Well,
us as an
I mean,
audience.
yeah.
Did he think that we wouldn't get this?
100%.
Well, here's an example, and I hate to toot my own horn on this. I'm not trying to. And I was talking to Aaron about this. I brought up to Aaron today that, I love, like, yeah, you're not so hand-fisted. You have your own interpretation of something, and everybody interprets it differently. I love that idea in movies, and I've done that in my storytelling. With my children's book. I have a clear interpretation of what I think this children's book's about, but I'm not telling you what it's about. It's whatever you want to be about, and you can be literal or figuratively, whatever you want it to be about. You know what I mean? And I think that makes for a better movie, a better story.
yeah, of course.
It's just like leave it open ended a little bit, and not so because like in a narrative in a movie you have to make it clear to the audience of a few things. You have to make it clear of what you're showing,
Why they should care.
the emotions you're trying to to get out of the audience, why it's in there. You have to make it clear. You can't. There's one thing about leaving it open ended and confusing the audience. So it's a delicate balance between spoon feeding in terms of showing, but not spoon feeding until you want what you want them to get out of it in terms of how they interpret it. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Is that the most poetic and analytical I've ever heard you? I liked it.
So.
Well,
That's good.
I'm relaxed.
So here's the two questions I'll ask. If it was an environmental story, I guess the answer would just end up being he wanted to do all of these things at the same time.
Yes.
But like, how did the Cain and Abel story, or like how did that play into
The environment,
like talking about the environment?
It didn't, because
It didn't.
the Bible, everything that was Bible related was just a framing device. It was just it's
Setting up
very
the
prevalent in the earth at that point.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, that didn't. No,
Yeah,
I think you're all caught up in the fact that you think it's just 100% environmental issue.
when the director tells me, I'm gonna critique the movie.
He's gonna hold him to his standard.
point.
No, and I guess I'm coming from a different angle because I didn't watch the interviews with him.
Thank God you
I
didn't.
think it could be interpreted. The whole movie about being an environmental issue is how he interpreted God. Not really, and since he's an atheist, God's not really there, and so he interpreted God not really caring about the environment because he's really not there. Like.
So for God, it's just God wants to create.
And be
The
showered with
planet is
adulation.
never enough for him. He wants to create
doesn't
man
care.
to obsess and worship him, but he also wants to like
He doesn't care about the
forgive them, and he does. So the only reason is to create the planet so that he can then create the people, and
To
then
inhabit
he's
it.
been through this so many times, yet he keeps making the same mistake because he's obsessed with himself. And
Well, we don't
he
know
just-
what happens every time. We just know it's a cycle.
Well,
I think
it's
we have to
assumed the same thing.
that it's similar.
Well, it has to be similar in that it ends.
Maybe that's like the metaphor of history dooming to repeat itself too.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that was why before I knew he was an atheist, I kind of liked the idea that it was like within the framework of celebrity and fame and like people today, like people are repeating the kind of the terrible stories from the Bible and making it like the modern twist without if religion wasn't involved, we would do those things and then like there's no good from it. This is what it would look like. This is the blatant truth. So I like that idea that it was almost like, oh, if religion was like real and like
There wouldn't be any
our
zealots.
celebrities are our gods, and and you start to apply it that way, like that's a better message. That's
Yeah.
a clearer message to me.
Sure.
It's more vanity than anything.
About us, though.
Yes,
and it
fart
makes it about the
smelling.
people and less about God
And how we're
manipulating people, and and because like so many characters other than God and like they just don't have agency. Like every person that isn't Ed Harris, that isn't Michelle Pfeiffer, the main four are like robots. They're just
You're
like
right.
zombies
You're right.
that'll just go with the hive mentality.
and that was the Muppet thing.
Yeah.
That's when you stop caring about.
It's just mobs.
Yeah, it's like they're playing a role.
Yeah.
They're just playing a role. This is
It's a bit part.
yeah. This is when you stop. This is when you're losing interest in the caring about everybody.
So really, then that circles back to it's just God. Like God is the reason the environment, and then it starts to fall
yeah,
apart.
absolutely. It's
But-
God's fault, not man.
But Jennifer Lawrence
Blame
also,
the parent, not
as
the
a
child.
character in this movie, why doesn't Jennifer Lawrence just leave?
She tried to, but she can't.
Why?
She never leaves the house.
No, but she tried to at one point. She tries. Remember, she tried.
And
she try?
they carried her back, or what happened?
Circumstances. She got Javier got her before she left.
Is that when she was alone and she was like looking out the front door? Or
Yeah,
something?
and she was going out. Where are you going? You know, and he's still pregnant. She's still pregnant.
She wasn't like trying to leave. She was wandering.
No, she was trying to leave to go to the hospital because she was pregnant.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
I get that. I just mean she wasn't like trying to get out of there.
To me, it
And
felt
she never left the house.
to me it felt shitty that this character that you're trying to make like allegorically into like a literal storyline of actual people and characters and stuff. She never leaves the house, and like you try to give her the illusion that she has agency over life, but then like the two big moments, there's like even a 9-month gap after this horrific nightmarish incident of all the people in her house. A kid died, and she screams at Javier Bardem, and then they have sex, and then she gets pregnant. Like
First
there's like
time.
this huge gap of time, like
There's
a
power
9-month
gaps all over the second half.
Yeah, and it's just like, okay,
It's like
she could
Game of
never leave
Thrones.
then, but then we're just going to focus on these two traumatic incidents that then push her over the edge.
That's
And
what I
that's
beca-
like that's so cheating.
It
Like
is.
if that was real and the planet Earth actually had agency over its life, it would do something.
You're right.
You know? Like it's not.
It also kind of wrapped up like a Saturday Night Live skit.
Thank
You
you.
know.
That was what I remember you saying.
You know it was like, all right, we gotta end it.
we
you
don't.
know.
And then
you
all
know,
the
this
people
has been
came
going
out
on
at
for
that.
a little
Yeah,
long, and we don't know how to end it.
Yeah, they all start hugging. Sorry, Aaron.
Sweaty balls.
Why?
Can I lay some actual interesting stuff on you boys?
Sure, this is good. This is a good.
Yeah, it's almost a good.
What? Archimedes?
I remember in the marketing for this movie, they posted a picture to Instagram with some seemingly innocuous but weird audio, and some smart cookies actually analyzed this audio, and I think it was the movie poster plus this audio, and so they analyzed the audio with a spectrogram, and they came up with this. You see that? The
What?
spectrogram is showing Javier Bardem in the audio.
How do they do that?
I'm glad you asked, Ben, because it bothers me that that they did this, because it's all like, oh, look how complicated and sciencey this stuff is. It's not hard to do this.
Oh.
Like this is what this picture was a metaphor for the entire movie for me. It was wasted potential. It was like, why didn't you go further? So like, I too have audio that can do stuff like that. Hold on, let me play it for
This
you.
is interesting.
Hold on, let me play you the sound.
Okay.
Why?
That's
that was
no.
me. That was
Here,
me.
listen to this. You hear that?
Play it again, Sam.
Play it again.
Well, that's kind of creepy.
It's really frightening.
Okay. Now, let's see here. Here is the song that was playing in the opening or the pre-show of today's podcast. That's the mother song. Now let's look at it with a spectrogram. This is what a spectrogram looks like. It's nothing too like, it just shows pitch really. Mm-hmm. And so you can see like notes and stuff. Hold on, it's updating. Give it a moment.
Focus.
Come on. Yeah, there it is. I got a fast computer. Now it shows you pitch. Well, let's look at that audio of mine.
Play it again. Just
Play it again. Is this coming through?
Yeah.
It's coming through.
There you go.
All right. Now, let's look at. Hold on a second. Let me fix something here. All right. Let's look at the spectrogram for this. Here. Hold on. Enhance.
Jeez.
Oh, there it is.
So
How did
creepy.
you do that?
It's a picture of us.
Yeah, it's a picture of us.
That's amazing.
How did that get in there? Was it metaphor? I don't know.
What does it mean? Oh, I get it. It's about the environment.
It's about that frog.
I'm never gonna let this go.
How did that frog survive? Anyway, so
How about
you do
the
that?
dead fly? Remember the dead fly? What do you think that meant? That something's dead?
I think it had to do with the environment.
You think it was foreshadowing?
No, Ben, it's very simple. All you got to do, there's like literally 50,000 pieces of software out there that can do it. You just show an image to the computer and it encodes it into audio waves, and it's just really simple to do. And
It's a twist.
that's what I hated about this. Was like it felt like it was all surface level effort.
It
to
was
me.
It was faux.
Pseudo intellectual.
Well, and it also wasn't even like, I guess the writing was okay and kind of adapted for like a new story.
I mean,
but
yeah.
You're still like, it's sort of like those episodes of The Simpsons or like a cartoon show where they make all the characters something from another show where they
Yeah.
just like kind of fill the gaps of who should play who.
Yeah, and at
It's
the
like-
end, it's like, did I really enjoy this? I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, it's like a Treehouse of Horror. That's what this
Yeah.
is. It's Treehouse of Horror. But about the environment.
So there was another podcast, review show that talked about it, and they had a good point. But this reminded me of, I can't find the name of the movie, but it was a John Cusack movie that came out in the 90s, maybe 2000s. I can't remember.
High fidelity.
No, it was actually, I liked it. They didn't like it, but
Was
I
it
liked it.
Grosse Pointe Blank?
No, it was the one where they had the different people meet up at the hotel. And it was this one hotel, and they could never escape this hotel. And you find out,
Oh, 1408.
no, was it 1408?
I think so. You thought it was
It's a horror
1488.
movie.
No. It was.
I got it.
Yeah.
Identity.
Yes, Identity. That's the one.
Identity.
It was, and you find out, oh my God, and to ruin the movie, or that movie, the twist in that one, this is inside a guy's mind, and he's got multiple personal.
Can I say,
personalities, and they can never, but like that realm of them can never leaving this area is kind of remind me of the realm of the house.
That's
and
right.
Fun
it's kind of
fact,
the world that they created.
Ben, did you know that in Identity is the only movie where I was actually dumbstruck by the twist?
It
I
was
didn't
good.
expect
I
it.
was.
Wow.
A lot of people hated it, but I actually enjoyed that.
It was
movie.
okay.
It wasn't
It was nothing
great.
like awful.
It's not like Sixth Sense.
It wasn't like Mother or
Or it is
anything.
like Sixth Sense, where it was.
kind of, but like it was really.
Except The Sixth Sense really wasn't that surprising, but
'Cause they tease it out.
pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't get it, obviously, but it's pretty obvious now. But Identity, I did not, like, I wasn't ready for it. I just thought it was a straight, psycho thriller movie thing.
License and identification, please.
Yes.
I wasn't ready for it.
Wasn't ready. So the last thing I do want to call out, because I think it's the scene everybody's talking about being disgusted, was the baby Jesus character.
I wasn't
in
really
that
disgusted
scene.
about it. It was gross,
It
but
was-
it was.
How did you interpret? Go
I
through that?
interpreted two ways. I interpreted it as, we're literally eating the blood and body of Christ.
Yeah, that's communion right there.
Yep.
And they killed Jesus at the same time.
I mean, that you show him off to Earth
then
when he
they-
first gets there.
yeah.
They're all happy to see him. They're crowd surfing him around. All of a sudden, oh, he's dead.
He's pissing up, and
See my eyes, I can hardly see. See my. That's Jesus Christ Superstar. Sorry.
Yeah, I just.
Will you come? Will you save me, Christ? Will you come? Will you save me, Christ? Sorry.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that scene.
that. I don't know that. I don't.
You just don't know?
It's just.
I mean, it was so
Ha-
one-to-one that, like, what's there to talk about? It was Jesus. I get it.
Yeah, I guess I'm just disappointed.
That was the only thing
doesn't
I saw that
sync
was like
together.
actually the environmental thing, because at that point Earth was so pissed off she started stabbing people with broken glass.
I loved it.
Yeah. Like
She was fighting back.
I did
the
not.
glass represents the hurricanes.
I don't think it's.
And the
I do
all
not
the
think
junk
it's
in the
fair
ocean.
to like. I get it's like your take and it's your, you're trying to convey a message or whatever. But it felt weird to me that again another character, like a major in this case when it comes to Christianity, had no agency whatsoever, and like that's not Jesus. That's just convenient for your story. Like, and he's just trying to whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, can we have final thoughts?
Yeah.
Final thoughts.
Because we're almost
Perfect timing, by
done.
the way.
I know. Final thoughts of what we thought about the movie as a whole, and would we recommend this to anybody?
And give it a letter grade. We should start doing that.
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
we
Matt.
should.
You go do it.
No, I'm not going first.
You're not going first? Okay.
You guys go first.
Aaron, why don't you go first?
You want me to go first? I'll
Yeah.
go first. Okay. Ultimately, I did not hate this movie. I would recommend that people go see it, if for nothing else than to laugh at the obvious, painfully unsubtle allegory, and as an instructional course on what not to do when you're trying to be artsy. Other than that, I enjoyed the cinematography, the sound design, the acting. Acting was great. Until I figured out that it was all metaphor, and it was like, whatever.
You stop caring.
Yeah, stop caring. But I think I would give it letter grade. I would give this movie. I give it a C plus minus. I don't know. The movie itself is. I think I was telling you earlier today that the fallout of the movie, the discussion of how stupid it is almost more important than the movie itself, and the dangers of being up your own ass way too far.
Absolutely.
And
when
having
you have to
a
try to
$30 million
explain the
budget.
joke,
Yeah, thanks.
little joke.
We get it.
Yeah.
It's like, why did this get a wide release? It was an art house movie. It's like,
I think it should have been an art house movie.
it should have been a short, is what I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
like a Jim Henson short.
yeah, if it was a short, I would have hated it like 10 times less.
So here's my final thought. Since Matt wants to go last
Matt's
because
a
he wants
puss.
That's a what-upper.
no, I'm just kidding. So unfortunately, the people who are listening to this and watching this podcast won't have the same experience that I have, having virgin ears and virgin eyes going into this, to probably enjoy it better. You know what I mean? For me, I say this movie's not for everybody. I think people will either like it or hate it. You know, to me, I'm a little bit in between. I liked it. I actually enjoyed the movie. I thought it set up the tone really well. There was some really good. It made me feel tense. You know, it made me feel. I really liked the. I wasn't bored.
Right.
Never.
They had a great pacing,
Never.
really good pacing, really good things they call back. Like, I love the pacing when she closes her eyes and touches it. I love that callback every time. We knew what was going to happen. They trained the audience of what's going to happen, of her looking at the heart. Now, the heart was, it was very hand-fisted, but that's another issue that I have a problem with. I agree with you guys. I don't like at first I liked it, but then as it vegetates and percolates, I guess you would say, it was very hand-fisted and very, did you get that? And I kind of didn't like it that much. But I would recommend people to see this.
Yes.
I thought it was a very good movie. It's nice that it wasn't a superhero movie. I made the joke. We got to stay for the end credit scene for the Mother Cinematic Universe.
She's going to show up with an eye patch and recruit Iron Man again.
I know.
Yeah.
I have a small addendum. I can surmise my points into a very short sentence. This is a movie with no audience on two fronts. It's, on the one hand, it's so simple that all the people who get the allegory are going to have their intelligence insulted.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the other side, you have the people who don't get the allegory. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
So nobody's going to be happy with this almost.
Where's Jason?
Yeah, where's Jason? I would have loved to have Jason burst into that house and start cutting up people. That
And
would have been
Michael
like a
Myers.
third act, special finisher right there.
I recommend seeing this movie.
I do too.
Just to see it.
Yes.
Because it did
It's an
make
experience, man.
It did make us think and talk about it, and I don't know if that was his intent, but it did.
The intent was to make money, and boy, I hate to disappoint you, Aronofsky.
He didn't make any money.
I know.
Bummo.
Go, Matt.
I would say as polarizing as it is, and I can agree it's polarizing, some of the criticism I've seen is like, it's kind of vile or disgusting. And
Yeah, I didn't see that.
like, I don't understand that at all.
No, me neither.
Especially if you're, for the sake of
Relatively
making a
tame
point,
by
it
vile
kind of fits
standards.
in. Yeah. There's a whole lot of, it's kind of a mixed bag of a lot of things. Of you get some horror, you get some dark comedy in it, you get some like legitimate like social family
You were
drama
laughing a
stuff.
lot in it, by the
Yeah,
way.
I was. Yeah, during the again, like I said, during that nightmare sequence, I was laughing because like I think it was supposed to be kind of funny and ridiculous.
Farcical.
Like there's people wandering around the house and they're like, "What are you doing up here?" Just exploring, and it's just like they're just
Yeah.
wandering around a stranger's house and just keeps
on.
going. Yeah, like go downstairs, and she's like, okay. So yeah, there's like a whole different. There's a whole.
That was nerve wracking. Like, by the way, the scenes. I forgot to say the scenes with when there were bad house casts. That was making me like anxious.
Yeah, and I think
worked.
they did that, and then at the end it was like an ultra version of that, all of that.
Yeah. Which I didn't care as much. But at the beginning, when
yeah.
I didn't know what was going on,
I think in both cases, like this movie, I would argue is some of the best. Like, if you had to visualize what it's like to have a dream where like just random things
good
happen,
fever dream movie.
like a lot, like that's a lot of this movie is that way.
It is.
And again, there's a lot of really good threads. Like I came out of it really, really liking it.
Me too.
But this is one of those movies where it's an interesting question of like, can you accidentally create a really
Yes, you can.
If you're a director, like try to make one thing with an intent of like, this is what this movie's about, and then make a movie that doesn't address that really.
Well, that movie does exist. It's called The Room.
Yeah, fair point. Yay! That's just like this movie.
That's a good point.
Mother.
It probably made more
No,
money.
so
Yep.
I would not say you need to go see it though, because I don't think its messages.
Its message is independent of the movie. You don't need to see the movie to
Right.
get the message.
I could tell
No,
you've heard it before, and this doesn't deliver it in a different way necessarily.
But I say see it for see what all the fuss is about.
I'd say
You know?
see it for the technical aspects.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
a technically beautiful movie.
I mean, I guess we should be rewarded. Like he got a lot of money to make this, that a major studio decided to make it. Like
How much
take
was
a
it?
risk.
How much
on?
did it cost
I don't
to
know.
make?
30
I didn't
million.
look it up. It was a
Really?
lot.
30 million.
30
Yeah.
million?
That's right.
But to take a risk
Get
on
the
a movie
actors
like
money.
this, that's pretty cool. But I don't think you need to see it. I don't think like the acting is good. The cinematography is good. Like it's not so groundbreaking and mind-blowing,
No.
and like the message isn't so
But I
like,
thought it was more-
gets so much like there's some good threads, but then like it's then trampled on by another thing before it like tries to go back to it, and then it gets trampled again, and then it's like then the last 20 minutes of the movie are headlong straight into the same thing.
It's almost like
so-
it would have benefited from being extremely short or extremely long.
Or subtle.
Or
or
so.
Or sort of
just
like the beginning.
I would say either make it way, way, way more vague, or cut out a couple of the threads and focus even more literally on
Yeah.
some of them. Like
There's
there's
too
just
much.
so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't know anymore.
Yeah.
What, would you say it was your favorite movie of the year so far?
Absolutely not.
I say, you know what?
If only for the conversation. it
I would say-
generated.
No,
Okay,
I
would
think
say
for me
this-
it was. I think for me it was.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding.
What grade number? What grade?
I give it a
Great
low
number.
grade, but I think it's my favorite movie of the year.
How?
because of the
it was
experience.
It was the experience. Absolutely.
That's
Like
why I said that
I give
the
it a B
fallout of the
minus,
movie is more
but I
important
think-
I was
than the
going to
movie
say
itself.
B minus.
I think it was my favorite movie of the year because it was different. It was clearly different. Better for worse? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean sometimes
but we're having more discussion about this movie than the other movies we've watched this year.
For the wrong, but
right.
just because he's an idiot, just because
But-
he's a bad director.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But he's not,
That doesn't mean it's
he had one
good.
bad direction movie because he's clearly a good director. He
in
had one,
some cases.
Yeah. So here's why I think it was my favorite because of the experience,
Okay.
especially because
Package deal.
Going into it,
Alright.
the feelings I had, the experience. You know, I liked it. I was more riveted in it than any other movie so far this year. And now, after the fact, and watching again, I won't be. And I think that's what's going to be interesting. Who people watch this podcast are going to be like,
Watch
oh, they're
the
going to
movie
know.
first.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we are kind of.
Because I won't be riveted. Like, if I watch it
No.
again, I won't be as
Yeah.
charmed by it.
Yeah, there's so much noise around this movie that I'm curious what emerges. Like, what is the.
Well, I believe there's a picture of Darren Aronofsky and Jennifer Lawrence flipping off people on a picture saying this is for the critics.
Oh, great. Yeah. This is about the environment.
We want you to treat the earth better. Fuck you.
You're the painters in that movie.
Yeah.
You think you're treating the earth good doing it, but you're more your ego. I like that one. Like it's like
that's actually
you're doing it for
a better
yourself.
interpretation
Yeah.
right there.
When they were painting the house and helping the earth, we're helping. Like no,
We're helping.
You're doing
No.
it because you're ego about it. You mean you're not really helping. You're doing it because you want people to know you're helping. You know.
But
What's that,
basically,
the white
they're
savior complex?
Yeah. But they're not saviors. None of us can be saviors based on the message of this
Exactly.
movie. So it's just like
Leave
the
her
fact that
alone.
we exist, we are corrupt. We're
morbid.
terrible.
Like Aaron
That's
said,
it.
What are we supposed to do? Is sit still here on the couch? And
Yeah.
Like everything we do is killing the earth.
But we're consuming. We're consuming oxygen. We're consuming every second we're here. We're taking up space
Yeah,
and matter,
absolutely.
and it's the Mother Earth.
You may as well kill yourself.
Yeah, it's
All right.
just like
2017, Aronofsky.
everyone is terrible.
Arsenic and not Old Lace, the movie. You got the arsenic. Just drink the arsenic. It's like you show up to the theater and there's arsenic.
And now the toxic gas will be released from the theater. Everyone?
It's like, drink me. Oh, this is another Alice from Wonderland interpretation?
Yeah.
No.
I love you, fucks.
All right. On to something not smart or fart smelling.
Cool.
What's,
Are we
what are
gonna
you doing
do-
for Game Sharks?
Oh, what are we doing for Game Sharks?
I'm trying to figure out our schedule for the next week or two because Cuphead comes out soon.
Which
Which
we can play.
we can because I already bought it. Yeah, I pre-ordered it. I don't often do that.
I might buy one for myself.
What are you gonna play it on?
Now I have an Xbox One.
Oh, that's right, you do. You got
Yeah.
one today.
Yes,
Today, Junior.
I did. For my
Well, we
brother.
can either play that or I've been trying to get my Wii working again because I want to play Super Mario Galaxy. I missed that game.
That sounds like a personal problem. Get your Wii working again. I know.
There's a pill for that.
Yeah. Sophomore. Go on.
But we'll probably just end up working more on Mario 3 Mix because we got to finish that.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, gotta finish it. Finish it.
And we're thinking about doing Blade Runner.
So next,
Blade
we're
Runner's
actually
next week?
we're going to be doing original Blade Runner next Tuesday,
Next
not
Tuesday.
Wednesday,
Right.
and then the following week we'll do the new Blade Runner.
Awesome.
So I'm really looking forward to that.
The advanced reviews on 2049 are looking decent.
Pretty good.
But then again,
pretty
so
good.
were the advanced reviews for a lot of movies that didn't get reviewed well. So
Yeah, we'll have to see. Harrison Ford in
remember
a T-shirt.
the advanced reviews for Batman v Superman? They were very
Yeah,
positive.
They were, and that was one of the worst movies I've seen for this.
I
I
liked
know
it.
you guys had seen it, but
No, I didn't
Hey,
like that.
here's an example of a Christian allegory that's not quite so ham-fisted, even though it's still ham-fisted.
Star Wars.
what
So
do you
Superman.
mean, Aaron?
Superman, yes.
It's like even like that's how you do it. Even
Well-
if it's ham-fisted, there's a story there.
Well, you know what? Here's Superman's not a Christ figure. He's freaking Moses. He's based on Moses.
Okay,
know
still
that?
biblical.
It is. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So we're gonna unpack the biblical references in Blade Runner next week.
There actually are some, I believe.
Okay.
Like how we
call
killed
it
off all the unicorns because we did because Noah didn't want them in that damn ark.
That's right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening and watching.
Goodbye.